Hey, this is Dr. Marsden again, and I thought I'd just again walk you through the Petrarchan sonnet and walk you through in detail a modern Petrarchan sonnet by Edna St. Vincent Millay. So, Italian sonnets are called Petrarchan sonnets because they are popularized by a early Italian Renaissance poet, philosopher, and academic whose name, at least in English, is Petrarch. And he will have written 317 of these, so it makes him a mass producer of sonnets. And most of them are written to a lover who's only known as Laura. Right? So we've got that idea that people write sonnet sequences. They write sonnets about love, and they write sonnet sequences that kind of follow a relationship along. So Italian sonnets are two parts. You've got an octave, that's 8 lines, and it's rhymed A-B-B-A, A-B-B-A. You notice that that requires that you get 4 rhyming words. That's not that difficult in Italian. It is more difficult in English, which is one of the reasons, well, frankly, that the Shakespearean sonnet gets made. So after the octave, you run into a volta. Volta is a term from dance, and it just means a turn or a pivot. Okay, and that comes between the 8 lines and the remaining 6 lines, which are going to be called the sestet. Now, a sestet is CDE, CDE, that's the most common of them, but you could also do it backwards here, CDE, EDC, and really any old rhyme scheme will work for the last third, as long as it has 3 rhymes, a CD and an E, and 2 occurrences of each one of them. So that varies quite a lot. The octave, on the other hand, is always ABBA, ABBA. So several of the poems you're reading in this module are Italian sonnets. We've got the one we're about to cover, and then we've got John Donne's Batter My Heart, Three-Person God for You, which is kind of a different use of a sonnet. It's going to be from a bunch of poems he calls the Holy Sonnets, which are addressed to God. So let's take a look at Millay's What Lips My Lips Have Kissed. What lips my lips have kissed, and where and why, I have forgotten, and what arms have lain under my head till morning, but the rain is full of ghosts tonight that tap and sigh upon the glass and listen for reply. And in my heart there stirs a quiet pain for unremembered lads that not again will turn to me at midnight with a cry. Thus in winter stands the lonely tree, nor knows what birds have vanished one by one, yet knows its boughs more silent than before. I cannot say what loves have come and gone. I only know that summer sang in me a little while that in me sings no more. Now, Millay is a fabulous sonnet writer. She, like Petrarch, knocks out quite a few of them. And the difference is that Millay, as a modern woman of the 1920s, has a more modern attitude towards love, or a attitude more like the 1920s bohemian attitude towards love, in any event. So let's break this down. We can run through, and I've already marked up the rhyme scheme here. Why rhymes with sigh, reply and cry, lane, rain, pain, and again. Notice that I had to kind of get a transatlantic or an English accent to make that rhyme perfectly. By the way, rhyme is a matter of individual preference. Different regions say words differently. And sometimes when you see something that you're not sure if it's an exact rhyme or a slant rhyme, it'll come down to how the poet pronounced those words. So that's something to think about. So let's break it down. What lips my lips have kissed, and where and why, I have forgotten. So she can't even remember all of her lovers. And what arms have lain under my head till morning, ditto. But the rain is full of ghosts tonight that tap and sigh upon the glass and listen for reply. So we have the persona. Again, the persona is the mask that the poet's assuming. Sonnet writers who are writing about love are often presumed to be writing about their own loves, and so the I is them. That's not always the case, but it often is. So we have the I, who is the rule is if we don't know the gender of the I from the poem, we assume it's the same gender as the author. And we've got a rhetorical situation, or a situation where she's speaking from. She seems to be maybe middle-aged. She seems to be alone at night, and maybe nostalgic. So the rain is full of ghosts tonight that tap and sigh upon the glass and listen for reply. Notice that tap and sigh have onomatopoeia, right? They sound like the things that they're representing. So here she doesn't remember their names, but it seems like in the rain out there are things that are asking her for a response. And in my heart there stirs a quiet pain for unremembered lads that not again will turn to me at midnight with a cry. She might not remember them all, but she's kind of it's nostalgia. It's the pain for something that you used to have. Then we have the volta. Again, the volta is a turn, and after the turn we'll have our sestet, C, D, E, D, C, E in this case. So it's not one of the regular ones. Notice, by the way, how many sedans are there in the octave? It's just one, although it's a really pretty complicated sentence. So she'll do the same thing, looks like, in the sestet. So one of the things that the sestet often does is it'll answer or it will reframe. So in this one, she sets out her situation in the octave, and then in the sestet, she'll find a metaphor for it. Okay? Thus in winter stands the lonely tree, nor knows what birds have vanished one by one, yet knows its boughs more silent than before. So we've set up that metaphor in that first three lines. So if you ask the tree, what are the names of the birds that used to be on you, when in winter there aren't any more, it wouldn't be able to answer you, but it knows that there's something that's not going on anymore. I can't say what loves have come and gone. I only know that summer sang in me a little while that in me sings no more. By the way, poets use seasons to talk about time of life really often. So, spring might be when you're young. You'd probably have summer be your golden age of happiness and activity. And then in autumn, things start to die, and the leaves start to fall off, and the birds start to leave. And then by the time we get to winter, we're heading up towards death. And that metaphor, by the way, one of the other poems that I had you read, one of the Shakespeare poems, uses that same structure, using a time of year to talk about a time of life. So this is pretty typical for a Millay poem. It's wistful, kind of nostalgic. It's modern in sensibility, but it is still a love poem.